I've got 6 posts in this short section of balustrade. How do you get them installed with perfect alignment and square corners? Watch the video. Alright, so I have these 2 posts dry fit. This one into the bottom of the stair stringer, and this one lapped over the joist system here. So you can see I've got a straight edge on here, just using a festool track, and boy, that is really fitting true. I don't know that I'd worry about making it any better because it's actually right on, I would say. So that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to make sure that these 2 posts lined up perfectly, and then my goal will be to install the 3rd post over here into the floor and have all 3 perfectly aligned. All right, so this is where that 3rd post is going to go, just like that, so that they're all in line. All right, so all 3 of these posts, including that temporary post, are in line. Then I've laid a framing square on this ridge, and I have another track over here, and it's lined up really nice. So I'm satisfied that is a good 90. And then I also checked, and this flooring plywood here is 90 based on a framing square, and I have confirmed that my framing square is indeed square. So I'm happy with that amount of accuracy. And you know, so one of these days I'll buy a laser level with one beam 90 degrees to the other one, just for this kind of layout. But right now I'm pretty satisfied with this, and I'll just make my marks here, and I'll use that to cut a channel in the laminate floor, and also mark where my half mil goes. All right, so what I've done here is, because this is a laminate floor, a click flooring with a sheet of styrofoam underneath it, it expands and contracts with, you know, seasonal changes. So I can't actually put the post and the other railing components like the shoe on top of the floor. I have to cut it back, which I've done here, and then I'm going to have a piece of nosing that hangs over by, you know, an inch or so onto the balcony opening here, that will serve like a stair nosing. What I've done is I've made about a 1/2 inch high rebate, 1/4 inch deep, into the 2 sides of the post. And of course, this is my practice post, and that will sit right in there, and it'll sit right on the solid construction 5/8 flooring. Then I'm going to use a rod, put that into the floor, one of the zip bolt UT fasteners, and I'll put that right into the floor, and with adhesive it'll be very solid, especially on a corner. Now, there's not enough structure down here for me to have a little segment of post drop down through the floor, because I'd end up like with a 1x1 piece, and it's just not worth it. Now what I'll do is I'll put my story pole back in place, turn on the laser, and mark where the top of the railing will be, and add my reveal, and that's how I'll get the length of my post here. All right, so what I've done is I've put my little test post in place with this facing the front door, and then I've marked here where the center of that rod is. So my hole is going to be 4 3/4 or so inches above here, centered, 1.5 inch hole centered on this line, and it's actually going to be right in the center this way on the newel post to give me the proper depth. In other words, that hole is going to go down this way. So what I'm going to do is going to transfer those marks over to the post that I'm actually going to drill out. You'll notice that these Super UTs do not have to be installed right in the center of the post. They can be offset to a certain extent to accommodate your structure. So now that I have that done, just like this post here, I'm going to put a rebate on this side and this side here. I should have had a scrap piece of newel post in place to prevent tear out from the router bit at the end of the cut. All right, so first dry fit, and that is bang on plumb this way, but it's off quite a bit here. And that is because there's just a hump right where this joist is here, and I can't do anything about it really. So what I've done is I put a couple of slim pieces of cardboard from the Zip Bolt UT package right underneath this side of the newel post. Realistically, it's not going to affect things when it's all glued down and tightened to the max. The post is now plumb this way, and like before, it's also plumb this way as well. With it being a corner post, it's going to get lateral strength from both railings. The railing that goes between these two posts and the railing that goes from this post to the half newel. This will be really solid. All right, so that's my dry fit done. I've got all 3 posts in line, and they're really looking good. Straight edge shows they're all square to each other, which will help with my railing joints. And they're nice and plumb, both directions. So I'll just have to repeat the process with the straight edge when I tighten them down with glue and make them permanent, just so they'll set properly. And boy, if you ever doubt a laser level, just check out this old school level, what it shows here sitting on top of the post, and boy, that is just right on. There's more to come, but don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. And whenever possible, I like to put these fittings in the posts on the workbench rather than when they're standing up. Much easier. All right, so now that I have these posts in, I've got one more post to put into the floor. What I've done is I've laid this out with a couple of festool tracks and a framing square. I've got this track here in line with the joist on the, so the end of the structure in the floor is right where this rail is. I know that there's a double joist here, so I have lots to connect my post to. And the customers want to be able to put a child gate between these posts, so I wanted to lay this out so it's exactly 90 degrees, and so these posts will be perpendicular to each other. And what I've done, I've used a framing square. I've put this track, you know, exactly parallel with the edge of the structure, and then this is 90 with the framing square, and I've measured 3 feet here, made a mark on my track, 4 feet here, made a mark, and then 5 feet across here, so the 3, 4, 5 rule. And that's definitely close enough for me, and this is all going to be just fine once it's all done. So I'll just get busy. I got to cut the floor and put this post, as I said, into the double joist, and I'm going to use a zip bolt Super UT for that process. Well, it's been a challenging day. As you can see, I got all the posts in, and you know, all things considered, it's pretty darn good. Now, I just want to explain that when you do a balustrade, my philosophy is that it's furniture building on a large scale. The only thing is that you're incorporating furniture grade work into a structure that is not perfect. You know, the floors are always lumpy and humpy. There's inconsistencies in level and plumb and all that sort of thing. So you have to accept when things are a hair out of line or a hair out of level, hair out of plumb, and just don't be too hard on yourself. Otherwise, you'll never get the job done, and it really won't make a difference. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.